Would you all be seated, please? We're going to call the meeting to order. Monday, the 26th of September, 2005, the City Council meeting of the City of Homestead. This evening, we'll have the invocation by Pastor Bill Long of the South Bay Baptist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Councilwoman Amanda Garner. Would you all please stand?
I might say a word or two regarding our city government. You watch the news and you see what's happening in Louisiana and Texas. A lot of decisions were made on a very local level that affected the lives of a lot of people. And I think it was kind of like an awakening to begin to see the value and the importance of our city officials. And my responsibility here tonight is just simply to bring this meeting to order by means of prayer. But prayer indicates to us that we're taking the minds and the hearts of these officials and yourselves that are part of this meeting to God's throne of grace to seek His wisdom and His help. Should there ever be an event that we've witnessed and that you've all probably have experienced, they are certainly going to need our prayers, even in preparation for such times as what we've seen and witnessed. So with those thoughts in mind, let's take this before our Heavenly Father. Lord God, we thank you that we have people here tonight that are willing to commit their lives, their energies, the strength, and the wisdom that they have to offer, and bring it to Homestead. Thank you, Lord, that they're willing to spend this kind of time in the interest of our community. And they need your help, Lord. Many big decisions to be made, and also small things that still will affect your people, in fact, the people here in this city. We ask, Lord, for the kind of wisdom that only you can give that will help them in the decision-making process. You've ordained government, and the one that we have here tonight, and we just pray your blessing upon them. Give them the strength that they need, and Lord, that all things will be done in decency and in order that would be pleasing in thy sight. Thank you, Father, for this time here tonight and the freedom to be able to meet just as local citizens and to have a part in governing the affairs of this community. In Jesus' wonderful and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please turn your attention to the flag and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Long, for those powerful words, and thank you, Councilwoman Amanda Garner. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Mayor Warren?
Here.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Here.
Councilwoman Garner? Here. Councilman Hodge?
Here.
Councilman Losner?
Here.
Councilman Porter?
Here.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Here.
Additions, deletions, or deferrals?
Yes, Mayor. We have item 5A, 5D, rescheduled to October 5th. We also have the 7D, E, and F will be deferred to a special call on Friday, October 7th.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Under special presentation, 5D is the presentation from Punta Gorda Police Department. You do the chairman. Come on. Too lazy.
Tell him, Mayor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, members of the audience, local dignitaries. I thank you for a brief moment of your time from this busy agenda. August of 2004, our city was touched as yours was by Andrew, but we were touched by Charlie. And we learned a lot, but we learned the most from this city and from this police department. It was interesting that on that Friday afternoon, Chief Roll called me and he says, "Is there anything you need?" I'm looking at the phone thinking, I have no idea what I need. All right, but I'll call you back. And he says, "Hey, we'll be there. We're on our way. When the storm clears, we'll be there." Well, guess what? They were there. And that was awesome. So some things happened that were just tremendous. I learned so much from this police department. I learned after 22 years that I got tunnel vision, forgot things, mainly about my personnel's families. These men and women showed up and they said, "Chief, we'll do whatever you need, but you got a lot of help out in patrol. So how about we pick up hammers, nails, and we go work on your employees' homes?" Great idea. I forgot that because I was so worried about the city. So I learned that I needed to be more aware of those issues. So not only did they go out and repair the homes and clean up yards, they also helped build a store for my department for the supplies that came in. Again, something we had no idea. The experience that they had gained from Andrew was a wealth of knowledge to us. So we gave them a list, and they went around and fixed these homes. I put every name on that list but one, for a reason. Somehow they got that one name, and that was mine. Because I really wanted them to take care of my employees, because that was important to me. Until my wife called crying, and I thought I had some tremendous hazard at home. And what it was, there were these police cars and policemen with tractors cleaning my yard, and she was in tears because they showed up to help. So I say to all of them, from the heart, we really, really, really do appreciate that. It's something that's just unbelievable, a bond that we feel has created between the two cities that we hope can continue, to the fact that we hope that Homestead might be interested, and our city government has asked me to present to you the fact that we would like to be a sister city, that maybe we could share our resources in the future, whether it be public safety, utilities, or public works, should you be affected or we be affected, that we have an adoption here of those cities. If you feel that way, maybe our governments can connect and we can work that out. My city manager, Mr. Koenig, would be happy to call, but we feel that strongly about what happened. So with that being said, I can't say thank you enough, but we do have a plaque that we want to present. And it says, "Presented to our friends at the Homestead Police Department. With our sincere appreciation and gratitude for your dedication, caring, and support during the aftermath of Hurricane Charley in August of 2004. From your friends at the Punta Gorda Police Department. You will always be a part of our family." Mr. Mayor?
Chief Reinhardt, just let me say on behalf of the mayor and council, one, I think there's unanimous consent that we will be your sister city. Do I have unanimous consent?
You have it.
Unanimous consent. It will be done. But let me also say, as the mayor of the city of Homestead, I am so pleased to be associated with probably the best group of men and women in the police department you'll find anywhere in this country. Thank you all so very much. You represent us so very, very well. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. And to Captain Kennedy and Chief Roll and just this whole team, this belongs to you, Captain. Thank you all so very much. We appreciate it. You want to say something?
It was a year ago that we went over to Punta Gorda, and we learned a lot, like Chief Reinhardt had said, from Andrew. And we owe a lot of departments in a lot of different areas, in-state and out-of-state, a lot for what they provided us after Andrew. When we first went over there and were deployed, we actually had the usual state shuffle because there's a lot of confusion right after the storm. We got sent like 3 different places before we were able to hook up with one of the FDLE agents that we had known from working down here, and she told us that Punta Gorda really needed the help, that you guys really need to be deployed there. Well, we used the end there to get us deployed and shot into Punta Gorda. It was, you know, their feelings for us, we have the same feelings for them. We couldn't, I mean, there was an immediate bond. I can say it for everybody here, there's a great deal of gratitude we got from being able to assist them the way that we were able to, because we received a lot of help from outside agencies, which really kept us afloat, as difficult as it was after Andrew. So from the chief through the rest of their command staff to the civilian employees, their sworn officers, everyone over there, they have an awesome department, very similar to the department we have over here. So ultimately, even though we got the initial runaround, we were very grateful for the fact that we were able to go over there. We sent 3 weeks of deployments over there, 3 one-week teams over there, and the guys here, they really deserve it, all the applaud and gratitude for what was accomplished over there, because they did do a lot of patrolling, but they also did a lot of the internal stuff that needed to be done. So, and they worked well past their normal shifts to accomplish this, and you know, I'm grateful for the guys, the ladies and gentlemen we have employed by our department, so my hat's off to them also. And Chief Reinhardt, thank you for taking the time to come over here and say thank you, because we definitely appreciate it, and we're grateful for being able to serve you over there. Thank you.
Got it. Hello? Al? You want to go up? Where do you want to go here? Okay. Sorry.
Please disrupt it.
I'm tired of being the only one that does.
Hey, Cousin John's back.
They get disrupted.
I think I'm coming into play second. Hey! No one can hold the phone his voice, Steve. Good. Got to put those little guys in the front.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Next on the agenda is the Office of the Month, Officer Yanko Rodriguez. Councilman Porter.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, City Council, Mr. City Manager, I'm Lieutenant Tom Foglia. This is our Officer of the Month for July, Officer Yanko Rodriguez, and he's a canine officer with our department. I'll just briefly go over some of the things he did during that month. For the month, he handled 206 calls for service. He made 6 felony arrests, 4 which were self-initiated, and 9 self-initiated misdemeanor arrests. 2 of the felony arrests were occupied stolen vehicles. And what happens is at roll call, we do bolos, be on the lookout. The officers write down information on stolen cars. On 2 separate occasions, Yanko was able to spot these cars driving around Homestead. In one case, there was 3 occupants, and actually all were charged in that. The second theft, was a Grand Cherokee. He saw it driving down the street and was able to make an arrest on that case. And you can see that he's obviously looking for perpetrators out there. It's a great job to find 2 stolen vehicles in 1 month while they're driving down the street. Great job. Besides handling all the calls for service, being a canine officer that handles perimeters on burglaries and everything else, robbery subjects, he's also a field training officer, which means he's teaching our rookie cops how to be cops. So you can see he does one heck of a job, and it's with great pleasure he receives the Officer of the Month for July. Councilman Porter.
Officer Rodriguez, it's hard for us to follow up with Chief Reinhardt's presentation to the entire police department, but Chief Reinhardt, this is something that you ought to talk to your elected leadership about. This community has, on a monthly basis, embraces the officers, and just listen to some of the rewards that they do in addition to the normal plaques, and the mayor and the council support this completely. But as part of your award package, the local business community has given you, of course, the plaque. The city attorney's office has given a $100 donation. First National Bank of South Florida, $50 savings bond. TIB Chrome Avenue, $50 savings bond. Community Bank, $50 savings bond. Tony's Grill, Sub Shop, you know where they are. You eat there free now, at least one time. Ferguson's Jewelry is a $75 gift certificate. Ruby Tuesdays is a $50 gift certificate right across the street. Global Technology Partners is a $50 check. Logos, Old Dixie Highway, $50 gift certificate. Carl Pelton Sons Goodyear Tire is an oil change valued at $25. Homestead Transfer and Storage is a $25 check. Dale Blake at Blake Chevrolet is a $300 value. Lube, tire rotation, car detailing. I guess you could use this for your squad, your truck. Captain Car Wash is a $20 car wash. Paul Kruger from Evolution Web Inc. is a $20 gift certificate. Mita Jensen is a membership for 2 for community concert. And Stick and Stein downtown is a free pool stick. That's not bad. But also we would like to present you with this plaque that says, presented to K-9 Officer Yanko Rodriguez for being selected Officer of the Month for July 2005. Officer Yanko.
Thank you. Chief Rowe's not here, but I want to thank Chief Rowe, the administration, for allowing me to be part of one of the best police departments definitely that we have in the state of Florida. I want to thank the Midnight Supervisors for giving me a good write-up and recognizing me and nominating me for Officer of the Month. But I definitely want to thank the fellow officers that I work with. As in law enforcement, it's definitely a team effort. One person can't do it on his own. We're united and we work together. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be getting this award. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Porter. Next is the administration of the oath of office to the Mayor's Youth Council. You want to come forward?
I get snapped. By 10 minutes, by 1.
Just follow Amanda. Most of you are aware that roughly 2 years ago I appointed Amanda and Mr. Hodge to represent us with the Mayor's Youth Council. And I just want to thank Amanda in particular for taking the lead on it and doing an outstanding job. We are planting the seeds of the future leaders of our community, and we are so very, very proud of each and every one of them. About 2 weeks ago, they had the election for mayor and vice mayor and city council. And the ones you see before you, and you have the mayor and the vice mayor and the city council that was recently elected. So congratulations. Now for the oath of office. Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, repeat your names, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Florida, and will obey the laws of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Mayor's Youth Council, ordinances, and the Mayor's Youth Council's Honor Code of the City of Homestead, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office I've been elected to. So help me God. Congratulations. For the position of mayor is Mr. Wayne Bullitt. Would you raise your hand? Vice Mayor, Mr. Nicholas Pascuzo. Councilwoman Ashley Harris. Councilwoman Lauren Dixon. Councilwoman Beatrice Deal. Councilman Sergio Romero, is he here? Okay. And Councilman Yamel Ben-Cosme. Thanks again, congratulations.
Mayor, I just want to point out we have a couple other youth council members here to cheer on the new council. I see Terrence Harvey over there somewhere, Katie Sapkowski, who has informed me she's a future councilwoman for the city of Homestead. We also have Vanessa and Pablo Vaquer.
And may I have the parents of these young folks to stand? Would you please stand and be recognized, the parents? So please stand. Thanks again. On the consent agenda, is there a motion for approval? Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Ford. Any question on the consent agenda? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Public hearings, ordinances, land use item.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, quasi-judicial public hearings. Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to be either cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present the evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be attained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyists must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda. At this time, would the clerk please swear in any person who wishes to testify on a quasi-judicial matter?
Please stand and raise your right hand. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the first item under your quasi-judicial agenda is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting tentative plat approval for the Keys Gate No. 2 replat located south of Southwest 328th Street, North Canal Drive, west of Southwest 157th Avenue, Newton Road, north of South Canal Drive, and east of Southwest 162nd Avenue, Farm Life School Road, as legally described in Exhibit A. A 35-acre site consisting of a 13-acre school, a 13-acre park, and a 9-acre school on land within the Villages of Homestead Development of Regional Impact, DRI, and providing for an effective date.
Mayor, I will happily move this.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Hodge. Question? No question. This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Give us your name and address for the record.
Mr. Mayor and council members, my name is Omar Armenteros. I represent Shores Land Development. In reference to conditions 3 and 4, I would like to urge that condition 3 be changed to allow the final plat and the site plan to move separately, not concurrently. I know that there's a need to begin construction on these schools as soon as possible, and by separating the two, it would probably speed up the process by about 4 to 6 months.
Any comment from staff on that recommendation? Saying by separating will speed up the construction process. Could we confirm that?
I can comment on that.
Vice Mayor?
I don't know why separating them would speed up the process at all, because we're going to build one school and then the next school, regardless of how this is platted at this particular time. I would prefer it to be platted just like this with the park in the middle. We fought, believe me, we fought for this. And I also fought for 35 acres, not 29. Right, Mr. Schuyler?
Let me explain. What happens is, once we're approved tonight, we have to go to Dade County and get a T-plat approval at the county. Once they approve that, we get to come back and submit a final plat here. If we have to wait for the site plan to be approved concurrently, then I have to wait that length of time, whatever that is, before I can go back to the county to record a plat. Once I leave here and the mayor signs the plat, you all approve the final plat, it'll take me 4 to 6 months to record a plat. It's a rubber stamp at the county, but they take that long to record a plat. And I can probably come back with a final plat within 3 weeks, and then you get to approve it and approve the site plan separately.
Susan, do you have a comment?
Her point is,
I believe at the Planning and Zoning Board meeting, this was originally written as prior to plat, and there was a request from somebody that it changed to concurrently. I don't know if you all can...
No, at the Planning and Zoning Board, the recommendation or the condition read that it should be processed prior to, and staff went back to the table and developed the condition that it be processed concurrently, and felt that they wanted to see a site plan processed concurrently with the final plat, that if in fact that would allow them to go forward, and if in fact there was a change to the site plan, they could always come back and process an amendment to the site plan, and we could look at or entertain anything at that point, but it would...
I think either would work, but our code does say that when you process a T-plat, you need to process a site plan with it. So, you know, in the interest of moving this project along, I know we took the schematic site plan so things could begin going through the process, but the real site plan is being worked out by all of the parties, including the school board and the EFPD.
Now, my concern would be now, will we be holding up the construction of these schools by requesting it be done concurrently? Can I get yay and nay on that? If we're going to hold it up for 6 months, then we need to consider not considering the concurrency. So my bottom line is, let's get the school built without the bureaucracy. So we could avoid a delay, a 6-month delay, then I need to hear it.
I think the delay is on his part, not on the school's part, because it's not going to delay the school.
The delay would be in recording the plat, which is required for a building permit. And I can speed up the process. It won't change any of the characteristics of the site plan or anything, you know. It's just going to speed up the permit process. And although it may seem hard to believe that it'll take 4 to 6 months, that's what it takes to record a plat once we leave here. I'm sorry.
Ms. Warren and then Mr. Shah.
So you're saying, I want to be very clear, you are saying that if we don't do it your way, that it will prolong the process to build the school?
Ms. Waldman, Mayor, and your attorney can confirm this as well. It doesn't change, Vice Mayor, the site that we're laying out. As the EFBD, the school board, the city, everybody working together, 2 schools, the park in the middle, that we have to still continue to work for, and that will be back before you at a future date. If you'll remember, this site originally had a condition on it that required it to be a park, a homeowner's park.
Right.
Okay? That's basically the condition that we're removing to get this 35-acre gross, Vice Mayor, 35-acre gross site to a blank slate. Once that blank slate is appropriately filed, the T-plat is filed and it's accepted by Dade County, then we can come back and still continue to work through the normal zoning process and site planning process and things that we have to do anyway. Then we can come back to you and design that plan. Still goes before P&Z, still goes before you. All we're saying is that restriction removed, it just takes us one step further, because the county is not going to approve the amendment, the site plan amendment you have here, not site plan, I'm sorry, the replat. They're not going to approve that until we have a fully adopted and ready to go site plan. Well, that's not going to happen for some time because we have to go through the process of developing and continuing to put that forward through the EFBD, through the planning and zoning, and the other processes that are normally in place. So this basically takes that restriction, the text restriction, off the site. It chops it up into what we've all agreed upon, and then we come back for the site plan. So technically it does. Now, we did discuss this at Planning and Zoning. It is a technical issue, and I said, basically you're passing the buck to City Council to make the decision. And they said, well, yeah, we are.
Same as you said.
She's a bad girl.
No, and mind you, all of my friends on the Planning and Zoning Board are very good, by the way. I just noticed that there are 2 in the audience. I just stuck my foot down my throat. You said fringe. You're under oath. Remember that.
Thank you, Steve. I'd like to hear from our planning department, because if that's the case and it's going to speed up the process, then I'm all for it. I just want to make sure it doesn't do the reverse. Absolutely. Thank you.
Exactly. The main concern was that the net acreage of the 35 acres is retained within the DRI.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay.
And it's just restriction 3, correct?
No. Also, on condition number 4, it says that the development shall be consistent with the plans as revised to meet the above conditions. And then the last revision states July 8th, 2005, but the last revision is actually September 12th, 2005.
Right, that's accurate, right.
And I need that corrected so I can go to the county.
That's fine.
The Vice Mayor move this?
Yes, I move it. I have no problem with that.
Vice Mayor move it, Mr. Hart second. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Are we removing the amendment to? Removing the amendment. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And let's move the original. Been moved in second. Any further discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, let's do the roll call.
No, that's right.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Councilman Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now, Vice Mayor, what's the date on these 2 schools, when they're going to open?
Well, we're getting a little delayed because we had to battle this land issue. But we got it worked out. We are looking to break ground pretty soon. Susan, do we have any target date on groundbreaking?
I believe that Development Services expects it will be sometime in 2007.
Okay. Breaking ground? No. Not on the first school.
Then I may not have the most current information.
Very soon, actually.
I thought we were going to open in the fall of next year. Huh?
We were going to try to break ground in 05, but it looks like we're going to be breaking ground probably in 06. We are going
to be complete in 07.
To be completed in 07, and now we were looking at a turnkey in 07. So I'm anticipating we're still going to be able to get this done in 07. Mr. Shah, do you have any different information?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, there is an opportunity, if we can continue at this pace, that we do open in 06 even, using portable or temporary facilities, because the student stations, we need them. We need to get them online. I did speak to Mr. Latner today, who is intimately involved with it, and they were talking about additional, which it has to go with the EFBD board discussion, talking about bringing in portable units that will allow us to open a portion of the facility in 06.
And that reason would be that the school board does not like doing middle-of-year school openings or delayed school openings. So if we started with the concretables, I guess that's the more appropriate word today. Concretables. Yes. If we started with that, then we could flow into the complete opening of the school on task and on time.
Well, we still have the Panther mitigation.
Oh, yes.
And other
when
things like that.
When was that Panther started? 25 years ago?
1988, I think, yeah. But we still have that to go, but we've worked that out. There are ways to get around that through mitigation, so we're well on track.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the quasi-judicial agenda is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving a planned unit development sketch plan for Mercedes Homes, an 82.3-acre site consisting of 74 single-family homes, 180 townhouse units, 240 multifamily units, and a 2-acre commercial out parcel located on the southwest corner of Southwest 320th Street, Maui Drive, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Mayor, I have some comments.
Ms. Garner?
Do you want a motion first or just go right to discussion?
Correct. Motion?
I'll make a motion to discuss it.
He already knew what I was going to say.
First reading for discussion.
Moved by Mr. Porter. Is a second for discussion?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Hodge for discussion.
I didn't hear.
I made a motion for approval, first reading for discussion.
And second by Mr. Hodge. Ms. Garner?
Thank you, Mayor. We've had many new developments that if you had an existing development next to it, the mayor has asked that you come speak to the residents so that they're aware of what's going on. And with this project as well, Planning and Zoning notified the applicant that they needed to speak to the Northgate residents. Northgate has a very active homeowners association. They are well aware of what's going on. They like to be up to date. And I talked to the president today who had contacted the developer 5 or 6 times trying to call them just to put a meeting together so they knew what was going on. Well, they have not met with the developer. The neighborhood is quite upset. They're not against the development. They just want to know what's going on and be allowed to give their input. And I think that's quite reasonable since it's going to be backing up right to their development. So I would ask that we defer this item until they have chances to talk to the developer and let the homeowners association be aware of everything that's going on. And if it takes a couple of meetings, then I think we should push it back a couple of meetings. But they need to know what's going on.
Mayor,
Ms. Bowman?
I've had the same phone calls. I've had the same emails, and people are very upset. And I really don't blame them, especially if they said they made phone calls to Kimberly Horn, and Kimberly Horn did not return the calls. So I don't know if Kimberly Horn is represented here tonight or not. But I'm going to go ahead and finish my comments, and then feel free to speak. I had some very specific questions today. To my recollection, and as far as I've been on council for the last 4 years, we've never had a project put before us with wetlands involved. And I talked to Doug about that today. Were you able to do any more research on that, Doug, to see?
Yes, we were. After we looked at the sketch plan and tried to come up with the size of the retention areas, and then we just reverted back to the fact that it is a sketch plan and it could change. They delineate that it's 2.8 acres.
The wetlands are 2.8 acres. But in my reading of the planning and zoning meetings and staff recommendations, you know, my math comes out to 11.5 acres of single-family homes. There's 470
494 dwellings. I'm still not sure as to how much acreage is for the townhouse and how much acreage is for the condo. I realize we're in the very beginning stages here, but it's very important, and the people want to know these answers. There's a 2-acre commercial out parcel. But my big concern, too, is, we always include the lakes as far as the density factor goes, but I don't like the idea of including the wetlands to equate the density.
And you are accurate in the equation. They have it delineated as open space as 10.9 acres and lake open space as 2.8, so your acreage is correct.
Good, my math is still right. but I mean, I spent quite a few hours on this today because, and again, I don't recall ever talking about wetlands being within a community. So I think, I'm not saying that it can't happen, I just think we need to really be careful with this because the environmentalists are going to, especially after tonight, they're going to know about it. And I think it's just very important that we're careful. Also, I was concerned with the comment that Sue Newman had made in the Planning and Zoning meeting as to the minutes when you asked about the recreational facilities, and they're going to have a clubhouse, correct? Correct. You're going to have a clubhouse, but no pool. Pool. And there's 494 dwellings here. And I want to keep the same quality of neighborhoods as, for example, Northgate, your neighbor. So I want to make sure that we really plan this well. I mean, we have the opportunity to plan PUD. So now we need to start doing our planning. And I wasn't as happy with what I was reading as I could have been. I'm very concerned about those wetlands. And very concerned about the tot lot. I still don't know, it said a tot lot. Well, 494 families, we need more than just a tot lot. So I want to know how many acres are planned for green space as far as a playground or activities, because it will be a multifamily. And there's going to be a lot more multi-families than there are single families, because there's only 74 single-family homes, which equates to 11.5 acres. So I agree with Ms. Gardner. I think the homeowners, I need my questions answered as well. So, but especially the homeowners. I mean, you guys are getting off on the wrong foot if you're not communicating with your neighbors.
One point planning department would like to clarify is that they do have 80% as the lake and open space based in for the water and the wetland areas. It's not a complete 100%. It's 80%.
But Doug, I'm also
I agree with you completely. I just wanted to let you know, delineate that.
I'm also concerned about the stormwater, and I don't know if Julio's here. But I mean, are we double dipping here on this? I mean, are we using the lakes as what's required for the stormwater drainage?
That would be something that they would have to run through the State Department to get a determination as to whether the stormwater design is adequate and permitted as such. So that's something that would come from the state, yeah.
But that will happen. That's going to be required.
That is a requirement that all new developments have to go through.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to comment to any of my questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members, my name is Juan Jimenez. I'm with Kimley Horn and Associates. And my understanding was that being that this is a sketch plan and that we will have to come back for a master development plan, right now the areas that we have designated as open space is basically just shown as a green shade on the plan, and that could be trails, it could be a tot light, it could be shelters, it could be a lot of different things that we would work out when we come back and submit for a master development plan. Right now it's very generalized. And my understanding from several meetings with staff was that that was adequate for this level of plan. With respect to the wetlands, we've met with members of Miami-Dade County Durham and actually went out there and flagged the perimeter of the wetlands, and we have a verbal agreement with them as to what the boundary is and what we need to do to preserve it. And they actually like the idea of preserving the wetland rather than impacting it. And I did speak on the phone with Mr. Kevin Sullivan from Northgate, and we did talk about setting up a meeting. I thought, again, that it might be a little bit early in this stage. I thought maybe before we begin the next phase, before we prepare our master development plan, that we get together with the Northgate residents and address their concerns.
I think they should have been notified all along so they could continue the process with you, and if they give us their thumbs up, we're much more likely to be listening to you. I think you need to meet with them before we do anything else.
Any other comments? Are you asking for a tabling of this item? You're asking for a tabling of this item?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second to the tabling motion?
Second.
Moved and second for tabling. No discussion on tabling.
I'd like to hear from the residents before we take a vote.
Once am I correct? No discussion on tabling motion? We could have a discussion? No.
No, you vote on tabling.
Once there's a tabling motion, we can't have any further discussion. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on the tabling issue.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Councilman Losner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next item, Mr. Mayor, members of council, is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting final plat approval of Pacific Boulevard and Mediterranean Avenue spine roads within the Oasis Plan Unit Development located south of the C-103 canal from approximately southwest 142nd Avenue to the Homestead extension of the Florida Turnpike as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Is there a motion for approval?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Hart, second by Mr. Porter. Any comments? Any comments? Well, I'll open up the public hearings. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Councilman Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And items D, E, and F have all been deferred to the special call meeting on 10/7. And that concludes the quasi-judicial portion of our agenda. Moving on to the legislative matters, item I is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida to recommend, endorse, and approve the redesignation of the City of Homestead's Enterprise Zone as part of Miami-Dade County's application to the state of Florida for renewal, providing for severability and an effective date.
I'll move it.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hodge. Any questions? Any questions from council? Any comments from the audience on this resolution? Any comments? Well, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Councilman Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The second item is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the city code by amending Chapter 28 Utilities at Article 1 in general by creating Section 28-14 Association Approval, providing for proof of condominium, cooperative, or homeowner association approval of tenancy prior to initiation of service as new water, sewer, or electric utility account, providing for inclusion in code, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
Is there a motion for first reading? Motion by Mr. Hodge. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter?
Mr. Manager, could you just give a brief explanation of this, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council. Basically, what this is requiring is that the associations, the homeowners associations, or the neighborhood association include in their governing documents the requirement for approval of tenancy that would give them a letter showing that they first of all have to have in their homeowners document the process for approval of tenancy. Then what they do is they interview
the people or review the people moving in to that area, tenant. And that tenant would get a letter from the association. The homeowners would have to register with our customer service and notify them that they have and copies of their homeowners documents where they require this tenancy approval. And the person looking to move in would take that approval letter to our customer service for us to approve turning on water, electricity within that community. So it's a way in which the communities kind of control their environment.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Well, this is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Susan?
Susan Newman at 2835 Fairways Drive. I'm just really a little unclear about this ordinance. I'm wondering if it's going to be adding an additional charge to people who want to rent, because the association is probably going to charge for some kind of letter like this in addition to all the other application fees that they've been doing. I've been experiencing recently application fees costing each tenant, if they're not married, like two people living in a house and adults, everybody over 18, $150 per application for tenancies, taking up to 3 weeks for an approval process. 21 business days is not even is quite common anymore. I'm experiencing all of the Waterstone subdivisions, everything that's all the new stuff. You know, eventually get a letter from the associations up there that give you a certificate of approval or whatever. But there are other associations, many other associations, that have no letter for an approval process. There are even associations that don't have an approval process. So are you asking tenants to pay additional fees for this type of service to get their utilities turned on?
I think the intent, Ms. Newman, is that complaints came to me, and I believe other council members, by homeowners who lived in neighborhoods where the associations were not up and running, either just that they weren't, or that the developer had not turned them over to the homeowners yet. And the quality of life and the investment that those homeowners had made was being impacted by tenants who had not gone through a screening process. And the intent here was to at least provide some level of protection to those people who are making mortgage payments and paying taxes from tenants who are degrading the quality of life in the neighborhood, with the theory being that where and only where the association documents require tenant approval, that we would require that screening and approval process to take place.
So if the current association does not require any approval process, this would not affect them?
That's correct.
And how is the utilities office going to know the difference?
I believe, don't we, Mr. Manager, for at least all of the new projects, we have the homeowner association documents on file.
They have to apply and notify customer service where you come to get that turned on that they do have this requirement. And then the applicant will bring a letter, have to bring a letter if that is required. They'll look it up, they'll know, and after you do a few of those, you'll know automatically what associations are requiring this. And we are not putting an extra charge to do that in this.
No, you might not, but the association person may.
Well, the associations do a lot of things out there we don't control, so, I mean, that's up to the association.
Oh.
I mean, that could happen, you're right.
Quite frankly, I was more interested in bringing this forward to protect those who had made a real investment in this community, rather than those who are just passing through and taking advantage of social services.
I think
as harsh as it sounds, that was my intent, and
I would just think that you need to look into this a little bit more. There are a lot of associations, I can name 5 off the top of my head, that don't do any approval process whatsoever. And then how is the utility company going to know which one does, which one doesn't?
If their documents require them to do so,
well, take for instance the Village of Homestead. There's no approval process. None, absolutely none. And it's probably in the documents that they should get an approval. They just never enforced it.
But I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, I'm not arguing, I'm just understanding the concept. I'm saying you're adding additional expense to tenants probably. You're definitely adding additional work on the utilities company, because they're going to have to look up to see if that association does one or doesn't, and the time issue. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Mayor, I was just going to comment to Sue. Sue, do you remember when we lived in the villages in the 80s together? You know, we did have an approval process, so it's, you know, we were in that mode back then. No, we haven't enforced it since 1992. You're correct. But doesn't have approval process. San Rico doesn't have approval process. Right. There's a lot of places. Right. That's what. Right, and there's a lot more work to be done on this. I mean, we discussed it at the council level before that you know, we're just trying to answer the people that are so upset about investors going in and buying. You know, we don't even know how many. Some of them may be 20, 25 units. We don't even know because there's no tax information yet. I mean, let's face it, it's scary. There could be more than 20, 25. I know exactly where you're coming from because I deal with it too every single day. But we're going to have to monitor this very, very closely, and it may not work. But, you know, we have to start somewhere. So that's just, suggestions are always welcome.
Mayor.
Good evening, Council. My name is Angel Lazo, 1400.
Ms. Garner, then Mr. Angel.
Thank you, Mayor. Since the associations have to want to be part of this, I'd like to encourage staff again to notify all the homeowners associations that they have this option, because some of them might not be enforcing anything, and if they know that we'll back it up, maybe they'll want to. So we need to let them all know that this is an option for them.
Mr. Lazo?
Angel Lazo, 1400 Southeast 23rd Drive. I'm the president of the Advisory Council for Keys Landing, and I support the council implementing this ordinance. Actually, in Keys Gate, this is enforceable, and there is a fee that they have to pay, but it's already written in the rules. And many people are circumventing that, and I believe this ordinance will support that. Will help us enforce our own rules in our association. So I fully support that. The associations that don't have that rule, then I'm sure they'll have to work out if they get notified of the new ordinance. So I definitely support it. There are many people who are definitely affecting our quality of life. Renting without even notifying the association. People move in, you don't even know who lives there. They're just circumventing the process, and I fully support your ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Any other comments? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Any further comments? If not, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Councilman Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Business from the city manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a couple items here. With the mayor's position, there are a couple of board openings. I'd just like to make the announcement that they're board openings. We didn't get them to you on time to make them tonight under your business. But the City of Homestead's Police Pension Board currently has 2 openings. Anyone interested in serving on the board should submit their resume to the city clerk's office at City Hall here, 790 North Homestead Boulevard, Homestead, Florida, 33030 for those who are taking that down. You must be a City of Homestead resident, and for all questions, please call Marcy Heese at 305-224-4460. Again, Marcy Heese, 224-4460. We also have openings on the Human Relations Board. The Homestead, Florida City Human Relations Board currently has 2 openings. Anyone interested in serving on the board should submit their resume to the clerk's office at 790 North Homestead Boulevard, Homestead, Florida, 33030. And another item, Mayor, you may have seen this, and we did not want to mix this up with passing the budget, but as you know, we're in the habit the last 3 years of looking at excuse me, at budgets for a 2-year time period, where you adopt the current year coming up budget or the immediate next year budget, and then the second year budget is approved and not adopted, and it's a strenuous requirement there. but we have in front of you just an estimate for the fiscal year 2007 budget, and of course you know what happens. This will change by the time we get there and actually flesh this into being the the recommended proposed 2007 budget. But much of the work has been done, and we've got a framework. So it's been a good policy we've been having. And what people do, they go, the department heads will take what we're estimating in 2007, and then they'll make their changes when the actual time to come for the budget is. But we already got the framework there. So what I'm saying, what I'm requesting is that you approve this. The 207 for the audience, since you don't have it in front of you there, is $122,578,368, the total budget. That's down at this point. This year's proposed budget is $135,416,449. It's reduced. Probably the main issue there was that $12 million that was related to the Park of Commerce that we talked about, that was reduced, and a couple other issues that were not added that were in the original our proposed 06 or just adopted 06 budget. So just put it in front of council just for your approval. You see that we're still doing the considering 2-year budgeting as we go through here.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Mr. Lawson?
Mr. Hunter, what do you know about the stadium that we don't, where we have an 88% increase in revenue from the stadium?
Well, I don't know. I think we are putting in a factor there for potential use on the stadium. Do you have the exact increase on the stadium?
No, it's here in front of us.
Yeah.
A lot of the increase would be basically capital improvements if the city should decide to keep it. But like Kurt said, that's not, decisions need to be made. It's more of a what-if situation. If we kept it, we need to improve it.
It would have to be a major component coming out of the budget if we chose not to do.
If at the time we actually frame this budget.
Depending upon the use.
Right. Exactly.
Correct.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you all very much. Good for it, planning, visioning. Good that we continue to do that. Any other comments? Mr. Manager, is that it?
That's it. I just wanted to say that STI is now the cable company primarily serving Waterstone. The meetings are shown on Wednesdays and Mondays following each meeting at 7 p.m. But my information sheet didn't give me the channel that it's on, but we'll get back with that. But it is being shown in the Waterstone area.
Let's put it in the Tribune so they know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. That's it. I'm sorry. Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd first like to thank everyone who called, emailed, and sent cards to the death of my great-grandmother. And I appreciate everything and give you thanks for your thoughts and prayers. And because of that, I missed a historic event that happened in the Southwest community last Friday, where there was a groundbreaking for a development there that will probably be one of the biggest development that's happened there in years. And it's also our first initial groundbreaking for the initial step toward the Southwest Master Plan. That's going to have the Key West style enhancements and looks, and I'm very proud of it. And Again, I really hate that I had to miss it, but it was unfortunate that I had to, and I just wanted to share those things with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Porter? Where's Mr. Lawson? Sorry, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, Mr. Manager, first I want to compliment you and all of our utility staff and the police department and everybody across the board who, again, put their homes and families second and turned out to get this city prepared and be ready for the eventuality of Rita, which fortunately we, again, were spared. As we've seen what happened in other communities, it could have been much worse, but again, our people were, as always, at the ready, putting personal interests second and third place to be here for all of us, the residents of this community. And let's not forget that was 2 out of 3 weekends that we had that situation between Katrina and Rita. A few weeks ago, Mr. Manager, we realize that on election night, the Elections Department intends to take the ballots from Homestead and take them to their headquarters at the Doral and count them, and I had asked that we perhaps get in line and carry a big enough stick or be the squeaky enough wheel to continue a tradition that's gone on here for many years at City Hall, that those ballot boxes stay here and are counted here. I would think with the size of county government and the technology that they have now for counting them, there's really no excuse for them not to be here if we ask early enough, so that those ballots, so there's no delay in the results on election night.
Yes, sir, I'll coordinate with the clerk on that.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Mr. Porter?
Just a couple things, Mayor. As we talk about the storm and the first go-around with Katrina and the massive flooding that we saw on Chrome Avenue, and I want to thank the manager and the staff for actually taking sandbags to the affected businesses. I think that goes a long way to show your efforts to not only short-term address that problem, but your comments subsequent to that have also been long-term. Let's take a look at it from a long-term situation, but we filled the gap in the short-term as well, and I want to thank you, Manager, for that. And it was received very well from all the comments that I had heard. Also, Mr. Manager, if you have any way of maybe contacting DOT, maybe ask them not to do any more improvements on Chrome Avenue until they figure out what they did wrong on the outbound northbound lane of Chrome Avenue right before before Avocado is absolutely horrific. It's mushroomed up or peeled up or slid up. I don't know. It's horrible. And now it's beginning to even do the same thing on southbound at 15th Street.
You're right.
There's so much pressure lateral on that asphalt.
That's right.
It was better before, so it looks pretty, but it's...
He's right. He's right.
So, I mean, obviously they've got some sort of a problem in the way that they're doing it. So rather than see them take a decent road and make it almost unbearable, is ask them to figure out what the problem is before they try anymore.
I think, Mr. Porter, you're right on target there. We drove that area, and I think Mike and Julio have some comments on that.
Just to bring you up to date, we have contacted DOT regarding that situation. Definitely, it does not meet DOT standards by any means, so we're on top of it, trying to make sure that they fix it properly. It definitely wasn't built correctly.
In one point, reference some of the developments that are hinging out there right now in the farm life area between 328 and 312, where you have a series of 2 lanes and down out to 4 lanes as it goes underneath. Can we get kind of a feel for the timeline on that? Because I think that's going to be critical in an analysis as everything starts developing to the south of Lucy Street, 328. You got a lot more traffic doing that merging in and merging out. So can we have some input on that and some of these future discussions when we talk about roads that are going to, developments that are going to dump onto that road? What is their portion of the responsibility financially, and then what is the timeline that we can see some sort of a realistic construction phase there?
Mr. Shahara?
Mr. Mayor, council members, actually that road is tied into the DRI. When the number of units reaches a certain number of units, they are required to improve that road. But we will give you more information in a memo.
In our analysis of future issues that we've got on the table, because now those developments are now getting right on to the Mowry project. Mowry's underutilized, underdeveloped right now. And then also, my opinion is that 167, what is Farm Life? I know the names, I don't know the numbers. Farm Life is inadequate, and we need to do something, or at least know what the timeline is. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Councilwoman Woolman?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I reported not long ago that we were going to be starting on the next phase was Audubon Park and our parks program, But unfortunately, due to Hurricane Rita, everything's been put on hold for a few days longer than we thought. We are going to start pouring the concrete pads for the walkway around the lake, and the swings have been ordered, the U-shaped swings have been ordered, and Public Works will start to put those in. But just so you know, the pavilions and the tot lot's going to be delayed for probably about a month or a little more because of Hurricane Rita, and of course we can sympathize with that. Did want to report that we had the Adopt a Tree event at Harris Field. This was a state event, but we were able to accommodate them by letting them use Harris Field, and I couldn't believe how many people were there. I would say there were over 1,000 people, over 1,000. Their cars were lined all the way up and around and down 8th Street, so that was pretty exciting. I was happy to get to go there. I saw a lot of old friends that I hadn't seen in a long time because I used to be employed with the Dade County Cooperative Extension Service for many, many years and did the marketing and did some lobbying in Tallahassee and was able to actually see some of the my old cronies that I hadn't seen in a long time. And actually some of them volunteered to be on my park-to-park trailway from Biscayne to Everglades to help with the natural hammocks and the native plants that we want to have along that trailway. I was also privileged to attend the Methodist Church groundbreaking for the school, and I wish them the best of luck. The kids were adorable. It was so funny to sit there and see my kids' friends have their children there, and to see all these little kids running around, they were adorable, and they had their little hard hats on, and I really enjoyed being there with them. We also did the ground opening for Waterstone Plaza. That was really nice. I hope that all of you go over and visit the new plaza. The Publix is beautiful. All their stores, they're not all open yet, but I think they pretty much have tenants in all of they're going to be there in all of them. So I hope that we remember not only that there's a west side of Homestead, but there's an east side of Homestead as well as far as the shopping goes. Tony Station, of course, they had their grand opening, live music, food. I was just so happy. I know Dave interviewed me on the radio, and I was just so happy that tradition will carry on for generations. The town hall meeting for Northgate was held at the Minor League Clubhouse. Very large attendance. I want to give kudos to Northgate and everybody for coming out. It's nice to see so many faces, and we had some great questions. And that brings me to something that's near and dear to me, and that is Kindness Week. And I postponed it because of the two hurricanes that we had here, Katrina and Rita. So now we're looking for people, if you know anyone that's done a random act of kindness. It could be as simple as just going to the grocery store for someone who's ill, but someone who's really done a random act of kindness, please take the time to jot down their story and give it to Patty or to the clerk's office, or give it to me, call me. So I think it's so nice when we honor people, and I know that there has been plenty of people who have helped others during this time of need, and even extended their help throughout Biloxi and New Orleans, and Texas. So please remember to do that. The deadline is the end of the month. And the YMCA ball, I must mention, is October 22nd. Hope you all come out for that. I think that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walden. Vice Mayor Bell?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little more than a week and a half or so ago, I was privileged to go to Washington, D.C. I had to go on some business. And while I was there, I went ahead and met with our lobbyist. And we were able to look at our wish list for the city of Homestead, and we were able to kind of pare it down. I guess we were able to put it in more realistic perspective, especially with what we're expecting to happen and take place in light of what's been happening on the federal level with the expense and the budget. So that was a really good meeting. Also, while I was there, I was able to attend the confirmation hearings for Judge Roberts. So that was very, very interesting, and got to go in and be that close to the judge and sit just a few feet behind him. So that was really, really a privilege and very, very exciting. Of course, Congressman Mario Diaz-Balar's office sends their kindest regards to the city of Homestead and to you, Mayor Warren. Also, I met with Damian Fernandez with Florida International University. Kurt and Ivy met with him, and we are beginning discussions on enticing them to bring FIU into the city of Homestead. And I actually have a letter from Damian Fernandez basically letting his bosses know that he has met with us and that we are beginning phase 1 on working on getting FIU into the city of Homestead. So that's in the burner, so we'll be working on that as well. I've been working with the representatives, I would say, from the Florida Marlins, the VP of Marketing, and Juan Martinez, the manager of Hispanic Sales and Marketing, to try and get a tournament down here. They are establishing a winter league and going to be bringing in some Spanish teams down here, and so we're enticing them into the sports complex to utilize that. So we will keep you posted on that. We had one meeting here that I was able to facilitate just a few weeks ago in the city manager's office, so I'll keep you updated on that. Councilwoman Waldman already mentioned the ribbon cuttings and the groundbreakings. It was a very, very busy week with all the ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings that we all went to. And I also want to tell Councilman Hodge that the Southwest groundbreaking went very, very well. And we are really excited to see what's going to be happening over there in the Southwest. And you were mentioned, and it went very, very well. I also was very pleased about the Methodist school, because what they're going to be doing is they're going to be adding a grade per year. And I'm very excited about that, because as we say, there's plenty of children to go around for these schools. And this is a great private Christian school, and I was very proud that they asked me to come to the groundbreaking and be their speaker and speak. And they're going to be having something called an Invest-A-Fest, where the community and the business community would invest into, basically partner with the Methodist Church. This is one of the oldest schools in the city of Homestead, very, very well established, and a very, very good school. So I really want to wish them well and say it was a privilege to speak for that ceremony. Also, I want to thank Kirk Herring with Parks and Rec in advance for helping us out when we bring situations to them. Thank you in advance, Kirk, for working on things in the parks and whatever we bring to you. I want to thank you for that. This coming weekend is the Chamber of Commerce's 5-year planning event. I was going to say retreat because they call it a retreat, but it's really more like an advance. So we'll call it the 5-year advance, and we're going to be planning for the next 5 years, culminating with a banquet on Saturday night with the installation of the new chamber chair. So that's going to be a very, very nice event. And Mayor, I believe that just might be it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you very much. Councilwoman Garner.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to start off with something that's been concerning me. Many of you might have heard about, a couple weeks ago, there was a car accident involving a fatality on Palm Drive, right in front of the Keys Landing entrance. It seemed someone was driving very fast, like 90 miles an hour, down Palm Drive, trying to go somewhere for their lunch, and a resident was trying to turn into their entrance to the community, and it was a horrible accident. Now, we know speeding is a problem. It's always a problem everywhere. But visibility is a large problem for us. If you drive down Palm Drive and you try to turn left into any of the communities or right, you can't see through the median. The trees, the landscaping is just overgrown. And I looked through the code book and I couldn't find anything to state that we have certain restrictions for landscaping. And then you talked recently about we're going to be landscaping US 1, and I think about it today I was driving in Publix. You drive through there, there's landscaping at certain heights, you can't see the traffic that's coming. So whether you're speeding or not, it's possible that you could get into an accident. So I don't know if we need to draft, new code to address this, or if there's somehow else that we can address it. But I'd really like to start off by, contacting that area, especially the Keys Gate area, about the landscaping, because they're not maintaining it at a safe level. And you think about November coming up with all the people that are going to be here for the races. Many of those people drive down Palm Drive. They're not familiar with our area. I'd like to get that resolved before then, but I would like to do something overall to take care of this, because it's not just that area.
Mr. Shahada.
Councilman Gardner, council members, I believe there are rules standards existing in the county and DOT that address this issue, and this is a side distance. They refer to it as a side distance issue. We will definitely research it and let you know. I know we dealt with it on that particular road in the past, where we asked them actually to remove some of the landscaping on the intersection of the Kinman Road and 344.
Right.
But we will look into it.
Okay, if you get with me, we'll work on that area first.
Definitely.
Thank you, Mr. Shahada. On the subject of safety, I know that we've had a couple storms, a couple scares, but I've noticed a lot of people still have their shutters closed, and that is a safety issue. We all know what a horrible tragedy it can be if you have shutters up and there were, say, a fire at your house. So please go ahead and take those down or close them, open them back up if you have them up, because it's for your safety. On a positive note, if you are or have ever been a member of the Homestead Junior Women's Club, we're having a party for you, a junior reunion, this Saturday night at the Women's Club Clubhouse. It'll be at 6:30, and it's just we're gonna look at memorabilia and laugh and have a good time and try to recruit some new people. Also, the Mayor's Youth Council held their Back to School Night event last Friday before last, sorry. It wasn't a great turnout, but good news is they raised almost $500. I'd like to thank Mo Hoxa. He's one of our mentors. He was there all night. He's from Lumo Print. He had his little car with his neon lights going on. He also brought someone from South Miami Grill, and they fed us all for free. That was great. And that brings their total up to almost $5,000 funds for their Washington trip. So we're getting there. And also thank you to All Air of South Dade, who gave us $250 towards the trip as well. So keep those contributions coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garner. Just a few comments. I want again for the audience just to repeat the outstanding news we received this afternoon, that Moody has completed its review of the city's financial status and has determined an underlying bond rating of A2. This is an investment grade rating. And this is a continuing indication of the city's financial strength and management capabilities. And it also indicates that Moody feels positive about the current and future direction of the city. Again, I can't recall in my years of service that the city ever received a bond rating. So this is a monumental achievement on behalf of the people of the city of Homestead. And again, my congratulations to the manager for doing an outstanding job, and his whole team, and the employees of the city of Homestead for putting a first-class presentation together for Moody Financial Services out of New York. It was just absolutely fantastic, and this is something that this council should be extremely proud of, because if we reflect back on the history, just 4 years ago, we had some serious financial conditions before us, and because of our steadfastness, our due diligence, and a tremendous amount of work for so many people involved in that process, we've turned things around to get a bond rating. That's remarkable. So again, thank you all so very much. On Friday evening, the Civitans Club had their 48th annual appreciation dinner, recognizing Ms. Donna Lee, is it Donna Lee Roach?
Yes, Donna Lee.
Donna Lee Roach as a Citizen of the Year. And let me tell you, it was beautiful. And I signed up all of the council members to join her dance club, because some of you all need to learn how to dance.
Where do you see me in a tutu?
But it was very nice, and the Vice Mayor, Ms. Garn, and Mr. Losman was able to attend that activity. At our last town hall meeting, there was some discussion reference traffic lighting and stop signs, and the tremendous problem we have in getting that done through the county. So, Mr. Manager, I would ask that we would draft a letter for my signature to probably the county manager and CC the mayor on this letter. But part of that should be, what are the traffic signals that we need, or what are priorities in the city of Homestead? And let's schedule a meeting with the manager and the mayor, if we can, to talk about how we can expedite this process, because our citizens think that it's we put up traffic lights and stop signs. It's a function of the county. And it just takes us a tremendous amount of time to get it done, and I'm sure there must be some shortcuts in getting it done. So we can set that meeting up and establish a relationship about it. I think it would be very helpful. But let's prioritize those areas that we need traffic lights. We need to get them done as quick as we can. Again, to Mr. Hodge, you were not present, but let me tell you, I want to thank you for taking a leadership in the Southwest Master Plan development. That mixed-use development in the Southwest, I think, would be the impetus for many more commercial development activities to take place, and we have come such a long way with that community, and I think when we have the official groundbreaking, it's going to mark a turning point for economic development for the historic African American community. So again, thank you for your leadership, and certainly to Mr. Rick Stouts and Mike Taylor and that whole group that are committed to making a difference, and that's so very important. So thank you all again for a beautiful morning. The Vice Mayor talked about FIU on Friday of this week, I think at noon to 1:30. There's a panel discussion at FIU that I'll be present, talking about connecting Homestead with FIU. So Vice Mayor, thank you again, and the manager for making it happen. But I think FIU now see a very good opportunity to bring some portion of I guess majors or some kind of curriculum here in the city Homestead. So we're moving forward with FIU presence in Homestead very, very soon, and I'm very optimistic it's going to happen. So again, thank you all for your hard work. And finally, I received a letter, I'm sure Mr. Manager, you CC on this letter about the governor and the Florida legislature in terms of the growth management reforms for Florida. And there's a meeting on, I think it's October the 24th, and Mr. Porter's has a lot to do with infrastructure and needs and this new growth management initiative that the governor is leading. And I think it'd be very, very important that if you could represent us along with some staff members at that conference to get some updates on what's going on statewide about growth management. I think it'd be very, very important. And I think that's all I have for this evening. Any comments from the audience?
Can I make a comment before you leave?
Mr. Porter, then I think Mr. Laws want to make a comment. Mr. Porter?
On the heels of your discussion with sending something forward to the manager and the county mayor, we're in the middle of our transportation master plan, and Mike and I have been talking about, we've had the two public hearings, but we'd like for this to be able to come back to the council in a committee structure where we could see the progress that they've gotten so far, so that we can then be able to look and add our collective input into it. And some of the master plans in the past, we only saw the finished product, and we're going to bring this back in the very near future to the council so we can see the product prior to it being completed, so that if there's any input from the council members in specific areas of priorities, we can basically imply that to the organizations that are putting it together. So I'm asking Mike to come back in the very near future so that we can all have a look at that prior to it being finished. But we have had the two public hearings, I think, right, Mike?
Mr. Mayor, Council members, yes, we did have two public meetings, and as a matter of fact, we discussed it in Julio, and we are shooting for the second half of November to bring it to council for discussion. Of course, they need to incorporate some changes into the plan, and that's really the earliest we could have it, but definitely workshop with council is absolutely necessary.
But the intent is to bring something back prior to finalization of the plan.
That's correct.
Should I wait on this signalization till we get the plan, or will I be impacting that at all?
Can we find out, Mr. Mayor, because one of the things that the plan is going to allow us to do is go to the county with a holistic approach to the problem instead of a piecemeal approach, because we all know where the problems are, but the county looks at us and says, well, look at the whole problem, not just one street. Now, we do have problems that we can identify, as we already have with some major projects, but can Mike and I meet with this, and then I'll have Mike instruct you of what he thinks, and then you decide your opinion, what you want to do with your letter. Okay. Is that okay, Mike? Thank you.
Mr. Lawson?
Thank you, Mayor. I need to also mention that this Friday afternoon, Friday evening is the annual Rotary Club of Homestead Spaghetti Dinner, benefiting the Homestead Redland area Girl Scouts. This is a dinner that has traditions going back to the mid-1950s, an unbroken tradition, and for the past several years we have served well over 1,000 people to help raise money for the hundreds of girls who participate in the Girl Scouting programs in our community, and that starts, I believe, at 5:30, Kurt, at Ayers Field, this Friday, the 30th. So tickets are available at the door. All the Girl Scout troops have tickets, and I'm sure there are a lot of rotating. No, I've sold mine.
Oh, no wonder.
Kurt, do you need to sell something?
Yeah, come see me.
The tickets are available at the door, and it's a great meal and for a good cause. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Any other comments? Any comments from the audience?
Good evening, Ed Powell, 2274 Southeast 27th Drive in Keysgate. Last week we had the last of our town hall meetings, and in light of an article that was in the Neighbors recently from a resident in Waterstone about how the city loves to annex areas and then fill it up with density, after our town hall meeting, Congressman Losner kind of awoken us to the fact that prior to Waterstone, what existed, and I thought that was very significant, and particularly your bent many times in the issue of density, that I would like you to repeat the before and the after part of that whole scenario.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I think there was some indication or some mislaid foundations to some questions at the town hall meeting to the effect that the city annexed areas filled it with density to supplement our budget. And Waterstone was the example of where, as part of the process where the parcel that's now known as Waterstone was aggregated from several different owners, under its Miami-Dade County designation before it came into the city of Homestead, there was density anywhere from 15 to 25 units per acre. We were fortunate that those long-standing families who owned those parcels had lived through what that kind of density had done to our community and mandated that the overall density in the Waterstone parcel not exceed 6 units per acre. And it also gave us the opportunity to again remind people that the truth of the matter is that those owners of vacant property came to the city, had the confidence in the ability of the city of Homestead to more properly and wisely administer development, came to us and asked us to annex that property before the first shovelful of dirt was turned for development. And that even predates my time on council. I think Mr. Porter and the mayor are the only two who were here when that process started, probably in late 1999, early 2000, and it was a process that took almost 2 years. And I think we as a community are fortunate that those landowners didn't take the really big money and run and leave it to people who would have left that parcel in unincorporated Dade County and at a much higher density and far inferior product to what we have there now. And certainly, we made the point well that Homestead did not go out and encourage high density in order to bring financial stability. It was a natural coalescing of events where in and near the city of Homestead, they were the last largest parcels available for development. We were certainly the last frontier, and I think we're all fortunate that those families of owners did come in and covenant at density of a third to a fourth of what was there. So I thank you, Mr. Powell, for allowing us to get that message out again, that annexation is not intended to build the budget. Any annexation that we do is done at the request of the landowner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. And I think the bigger question is, and I guess is where you sit, the definition of high density. If you were to ask someone in Aventura or Doral, they would have a different definition of what you consider high density in Homestead. You won't find too many communities that have a policy that says 60 units per acre. And in some of the most plush and wealthiest of cities in Miami-Dade County, on an average have 20, 25 units per acre. Some of the plush, multi-million dollar properties. So I think we've been very fortunate and very diligent over the years in mapping out a comprehensive master plan to improve the quality of life of citizens in the Homestead at 6 units per acre. And that was a major fight here at this council level. But we did it. So I just think it's according where you sit in Miami-Dade County, how you define what's low density versus high density. Some of us at the table, even 6 units per acre is high density. But I think we've done a good job considering.
Just depends on how you space it out.
Well, and how you space it out. That's correct. So, any other comments from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Sapkowski. I reside at 931 Northeast 5th Avenue, Homestead. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Mayor's Youth Council tonight. You know, I just want to say about 2 years ago, the mayor and council said we need to bring in youth to speak in decision-making in their community, and he was right. And I just want to say this has been the best events that organization that we've had within the past 2 years as youth are involved. And I just want to speak and say that the Mayor's Youth Council is an advisory council to the mayor and city of Homestead, and it consists of 30 of us in grades 9 through 12. Some of the things that we speak on are basically recommendations on matters affecting youth in our community, to increase the youth participation in community service and local government, and to seek and recommend ways to improve communication with students in schools, and to organize and perform service projects or functions that benefit the community, and to recommend the creation of recognition programs for youth. And this is really great. One of the things that we've done this past year, Councilwoman Garner said that we had 2 Fridays ago, we had our Friday Back to School Fest, and it wasn't such a great turnout, but we did have a great time dancing, and it'll get better as, you know, our years go on. And some other things that we've done, we've had a lot of community service projects. We've done the Breakfast with Santa, which we had a great turnout back in December. We had over 300 participants come out, and all the Mayor's Youth Council came out. And we did a lot of community service. One of the other things we did was a tree dedication. Matter of fact, we did 2. One was to the ones that have lost their lives within the services, and the other one was to the surrounding area that have lost their lives. We have a lot of upcoming events that we are planning this year. We're just getting organized into our 2nd year. If you have family members, friends that have students that would like to join, they can come to City Hall and pick up an application, or go online and apply. You can check out the website, cityofhomestead.com, and basically, see what it's all about and get more information. If they'd like to join, they can surely join. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other comments from the audience? If not, thank you all so very much for coming out. The meeting is adjourned.
Good meeting.